friends, it's Deanna here today, and I am so happy to be back to sewing. I took a long summer break and now I am back. And what better way to come back than to sew up a pair of athletic shorts. And also, how cute is it that they're named after my son, Caleb? Today we're sewing up the Caleb athletic shorts. I'm so excited about these. These are so cute. These are a color block pair of shorts. I think they're gonna be adorable. Today I'm actually sewing up a pair for my nephew, and then I will be sewing up a pair for Caleb, of course, right after this, but I needed to find some good athletic fabric. Anyway, so we are going to be sewing up the color block version. We're gonna be adding the pockets, the pocket in the back, and the cute waistband. Let's get started. All right, it's time to get started, and I am a little nervous. It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera. It's probably been a couple of months. My family and I moved to a different location closer to my husband's work, and so this is just like a little temporary area where I'm at now. So with the move and everything going on, I just decided that I was going to take a break off during the summer. It was so much, so needed, but now I miss you all so much and I miss sewing so much, I had to get back. So this is gonna be my first sew back. I think it's gonna be great. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so I've got all my pieces already cut out. I've got my two backs and I've got my two fronts. This is my color block option here. I've got my 4 pockets, my 2 sets, 4 pocket pieces. I've got my waistband and my back pocket. Now, make sure that when you're cutting out your fabric, because this is, if you're doing the color block option, you need to make sure that you're making a mirrored copy, because if you do 2 of facing the same way, then they're not gonna match up. So you need to make sure that when you face them together, they match up, the right sides together. So anyway, there it is. All right, we're gonna start with our pocket. So I'm gonna push this aside. This is my back pocket, and I'm using a very thin fabric, so I did add some interfacing to the back of the pocket. Then I went over there and I steamed a 1/2 inch down here at the top of the pocket. I'm gonna go over to my cover stitch, your serger, if you wanna do it on your serger. Your cover stitch or your sewing machine if you wanna do it on your sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch that 1/2 inch here at the pocket. All right, my pocket has been top stitched. Now I'm gonna grab my pattern piece. And what I like to do is here where the marking is, the pocket placing, I'm gonna cut that out so I can mark my shorts back, the back of my shorts, the back of my short, the piece where I'm going to attach the pocket. All right, comment below and let me know what you have been up to. What have you sewn? What Ellie and Mac pattern have you sewn lately? What has been your favorite thing that you've done this summer? I want to know. I want to know all the things. All right, so I'm going to grab my piece of my pattern piece. Not my pattern piece. Yeah, my pattern piece. I'm going to place it over my fabric. And I'm going to match here where my pocket's gonna go. So we're just gonna fit it right there. Oh, I forgot to say, we went over to our iron and we steamed those sides and that bottom 3/8 of an inch to the inside, towards the inside. And honestly, if you have fabric that's really kind of hard to keep on there, I would say use like some double-sided tape, like some fabric tape or something like that to tape this down if you want to. I'm just gonna pin it down and pray for the best, which is what I always usually do. And hopefully I don't get all tangled up. And so we're going to pin it right here to my back of my pants, my shorts. And then we're gonna go over to our cover stitch or our sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch that down. I'm putting a couple pins in the center of the pocket just in case when I remove the pins it tries to come off. I don't want it to come off, so I'm taking my time because this fabric is a little thin, so I want it to look really nice. I knew me taking my time when I'm sewing something. That's unheard of. Now, one recommendation is if you are a little bit afraid of getting this not quite straight on your serger, you could go to your sewing machine and do like a long basting stitch on it first and then top stitch it and then just remove that basting stitch. You know, I took my time putting the pins, but I don't know that I'll take my time actually doing that step. So we're just going for it and praying that it works out. All right, friends, you will notice that I am now at my sewing machine. After trying to do the cover stitch without top stitching, knowing that my fabric is really thin and my cover stitch might probably mess up, my cover stitch did mess up. So I'm over here at my sewing machine following my advice from earlier to you all, to maybe top stitch first. So that's what's going on right now. So after some seam ripping, here I am. Let's do this. All right, now we're gonna make sure that everything looks good on my pocket, and then I'm gonna go over to my cover stitch and hope that this time it works now that it is nice and top stitched on. And then later I'll just pull this basting stitch right off and be good to go. Definitely much easier to do it that way. Now all I have to do is just pull those basting stitches off. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put that little pocket aside. How cute is that? And we're gonna work on our color blocking section. So here is my front piece with my color blocking. I'm gonna put it right below it, and then I'm gonna flip it right on top and pin it. And we're gonna go ahead and sew it with a stretch stitch here at the bottom. All right, so then you just want to go ahead and steam it, and then you can top stitch it if you want to right there at the top. And now we're going to go ahead and work on our pockets. Now, if you're not doing pockets, you can skip to the next section, but I am doing pockets, so that's our next step. We're going to grab our fronts and our backs, and we're going to grab our little pocket. And if you want to, you can go ahead and apply a little bit of interfacing on the spot where you're going to sew on your pocket. If you think it's going to pull on your fabric and kind of stretch it out, you can do that. That will help it. Then we're going to go ahead, and we have our pocket placement marks on our pattern, so we can go ahead and use that. Let's see. Here it is. So I'm going to place that right on top, and I can see my mark. So I'm going to place my pocket right where that mark is. Let me just put this clip right here so that I mark my pocket. And you're going to want to grab your pocket, and you're going to face it right down on top, right sides together, and you want it to face down. So you want this shape to be facing down, and we're going to attach here at the sides. We're going to sew that right on. And I'm going to do that for all the different sides. So if you're doing one pocket, you're going to do a front and a back. If you're doing both pockets, you're going to do front, back, front, back. So you're going to do 4 pieces. All right, now my pockets are sewn on, so I'm going to head on over and to my iron and steam my seam allowance towards the pocket, and then I'm going to head to my sewing machine and top stitch down to give it an understitch so that my pocket won't poke out. So we're just going to understitch this side to the pocket, and I'm going to do that with a long straight stitch on my sewing machine. All right, now that that's done, we're gonna sew our side seam. So we're gonna grab our shorts. So here's my front piece, and we're gonna grab our coordinating back piece. So obviously it's not that one, it's the back piece. We're gonna grab, looks like it's this one right here, and we're gonna match up right sides together. Now, if you don't have a pocket, you'll just go straight down the side seam. But since I have a pocket, we're gonna go down and around the whole pocket and then down the rest of the way. And we're going to do the same thing for the other leg. All right, while I'm at it, I'm also going to sew up the inseam. You can go ahead and sew up the outer seam first and then come back and do the inseam, but I'm just going to do both of them at the same time because you know how I am. So we're going to match up that inseam here and sew with that stretch stitch. When I get here at the corner, I want to make sure that I kind of turn so it doesn't, my knife doesn't cut the pocket. And do the same here at the beginning. Once that's done, we're gonna grab our pant legs. We're gonna grab one of the pant legs and we're just gonna turn it right side out. And there's our little pocket right there. So cute. You just can't even see it, but there is our pocket right there. Okay, so the one that is right side out, we're gonna fit it into the one that's still inside out. And we're gonna match up the crotch seam. And then we're gonna go all the way up one side, right sides together, and then all the way around to the other side. We're gonna sew with a stretch stitch. With a stretch stitch, you can do your serger, you can do your sewing machine on a zigzag stitch, lightning bolt stitch, triple stitch. Really, you wanna find the stitch that works best with your fabric, whatever fabric you're using, and whatever works best with your sewing machine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sew that all the way around. All right, for our waistband, we're gonna grab our waistband and we're gonna fold it wrong sides together, and we're going to create a crease first. So we're gonna go to the iron and do a little crease fold, and then we're gonna grab it and we're gonna face it right sides together, and we're gonna sew that short raw edge. So I'm doing both of this at the same time just because I like to get done, so that's the next step. Alrighty, we're almost done. I think I'm doing good. I've been kind of nervous, but I think it's going well. It's looking so cute. Look at how cute these are gonna be. Adorable. Look at these little pockets. I just can't get over it. My nephew's gonna put all the little things in there. I love it so much. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and attach the waistband. I'm gonna grab this waistband that I sewed the sides of, and I'm going to fold it again lengthwise, like hot dog style. And I'm gonna mark where my front is here. And I'm going to match that up right here. We're gonna place that front right here with the front, and then the back with the back, right sides together. Cut that extra string off so it doesn't get in my way. And we're going to attach it all the way around the waist. We're gonna, when we attach it though, we're gonna leave a little 2-inch gap where we're going to not sew so that we can insert our elastic through there. We are almost done. I don't know if I already said that, but we are almost done. So I'm gonna grab my elastic and I'm going to fit it right through that gap that I left here, all the way around. Make sure your elastic is nice and straight, and then we're gonna head over to our sewing machine and we're gonna sew that elastic closed with a zigzag stitch here, and then sew that gap closed. After that, we're gonna go to our sewing machine or your cover stitch, however you wanna do it, and we're going to top stitch our waistband. We're gonna pull on our waistband to keep it straight, and we're going to do a top stitching 1/4 inch from the top and 1/4 inch from the bottom, up from the bottom. And then we're also going to go ahead and fold our hem allowance and hem. So we're gonna go do all that and we'll be done. So quick and so cute. I cannot wait to finish them. I think they're gonna be adorable. And I wanna make some more for Caleb like right now. Like, I love how this is looking. All right, let's go finish. A 1/4 inch from the top, and I'm doing a length of 3.5. Then I'm gonna do the same thing from the bottom. All right, friends, we are finished with this cute shorts. They turned out so adorable. The waistband, the cute little back pocket. I love that it also has side pockets. And you can definitely make it with pockets, without pockets, however you want to. The color blocking, it's so cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't so you never miss any of our tutorials. And then you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook, where we love to see your makes. Please come and share them with us because we love to see all the inspiration that comes from those pages. I hope you have a great rest of your day and get to sewing. I'll see you all next time. Bye.